Mayor Buck. In the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Motion at the Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 3rd, 2023. Each member copies for review. Second.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the monthly reports of January. Each member receives copies for review. Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so, tonight's meeting.
Aye.
Go back to speak. We'll encourage them. Just keep going.
Yeah, I was like this, not mentally prepared. So tonight's meeting, I think the regular agenda won't be too long, and again, I think we could have a lengthy executive session. So we'll just prepare for that pace or so. One thing I would like everyone to do, go over to Linden Park and observe the work that our street department did, building the skateboard park. First of all, whenever they dig trenches and, get material, they stockpile it behind the police station and they process it and they create, really high level fill, stone, and, we've got the equipment we need now. If you were down there, it looked like O&G was running that operation. Big time operation, and we're gonna wind up with a skateboard park worth probably in the $1.2 million range, really for $300,000 that we're paying the contractor, plus our own work and labor. I mean, there is obviously a cost to that, but we're really getting a really good bang for the buck, and you should see these guys in action. They're a very talented construction crew, and it's a fine product that they've created. And remember, what was the guy's name from Rampage? Dave from Rampage. He's all excited. He said he's never had a site prepared so well, so that's looking good. Other than that, I think we'll proceed and get through the regular agenda as quickly as we can. Go into executive session. There will be, I see Andreas is not here, but there will be some matters coming out of executive session, I believe. But if he comes, I'll tell him.
If ever.
Having said that, Jim K will go to public comment.
Okay.
First call, public comment.
Have nothing.
All right, let's go to Naugatuck Ambulance Corps. Monthly report will be delivered tonight by Ken Hanks, board member.
Kyle can't make it, he had to bring one of his kids to doctor's appointment, so. That's not being here. But real quick, we did 430 calls last month. 10 mutual aid out and mutual aid in, so we're still on that positive of giving aid to our neighbors. Couple of projects that we're coming up with, is we've been approached by Bethany. Bethany is an all volunteer EMS organization. They're having trouble staffing their cars. They've reached out to us to hire one as a contractor to them. They'll cover all the costs of personnel and then some. Same with Seymour. So we're working the details of that particular arrangement out. But it'll be a net positive to the ambulance service. We're also going to discussion with a couple other towns on providing some fill-in on occasion on volunteer service. These are busy. The biggest issue we have is a bill that's actually hard for now with Medicare and Medicaid reimbursements. The OMS says it was charges this, Medicare says this, Medicaid says we'll pay you this, take it or leave it. And that's causing a problem with all the ambulances statewide. So That's something we're working on up in our. That's it.
Thank you.
Can I comment?
Yes.
Just, I attacked our 4 state reps, legislators, at a meeting about that Medicare reimbursement and told them exactly what troubles we were having. Also, some people have asked me because they've seen, the ambulances that say Waterbury Hospital on the side now. It's because we're in partnership with Waterbury Hospital to buy supplies and for them to, supply us with paramedics. It does not mean we only work with Waterbury Hospital. Because a number of people have had a concern saying, I mean, I can't go to St. Mary's. You can go to St. Mary's, you can go to Griffin, you can go to any hospital in the neighborhood you want. So it's not just Waterbury Hospital, because that's what it says on the side of our rigs right now. That's it.
Yeah, patient always has first choice in the hospital. Waterbury, St. Mary's, or Griffin. Rarely will be out of the area in special cases. As far as the paramedics do, 70% of our building is Medicare and Medicaid. That's definitely access.
Just to add what Rocky said, this partnership we're in with Waterbury Hospital is actually going to save over a period of time thousands of dollars. For one thing, we're able to get our medications that are needed, for the paramedics, for the EMTs through Waterbury Hospital at a cost savings that is phenomenal. We've already seen savings by that. We're getting a paramedic service that is second to none. We've had some paramedics that were with the other service before, which are gone now, they're staying with us, and it's just working out phenomenal. And I had the same people, not the same people, but the same questions asked when they see the Waterbury Hospital partnership. Because I go to St. Mary's, I go to Griffin, but you can still go to the hospital of your choice. It's just a partnership we're in. And in just a short time, it's worked out phenomenal. We got a shipment of medicine in that cost us quite a bit less than we were paying in the past. So that's all these baby steps, if you will, some of them a little more baby steps that are bringing the service to our residents far beyond what Naugatuck has ever seen from the ambulance service. And we're very proud of what Kyle and his crew are doing.
Well stated. Okay, we'll go to item 8. Now, Kim, could you put that map on the screen?
Yeah.
Anyone in the rear who wants to see what we're talking about should probably come forward so you can see the map. Can you can you get the whole thing up there, Jim?
Well, it'll get smaller if I try to get the entire piece, so is there an area you want to focus?
Well, I can work with this, but it's not as good as the one in my hand. Oh, okay, that's better.
Okay.
All right. This is a very exciting project that we're working on with the YMCA. Now, we already know that on the left side of the screen, that we're the owners of Guntown Park, which is a very tranquil, serene place, and is a great asset to our community. We've expanded that twice in the last 3 or 4 years, and it is a beautiful spot. We also know that we have applied to the state of Connecticut for an open space grant to purchase, I'm going to say the mountain, the unusable portion of the Wilmot property that is not buildable, but will connect Guntown Park to our land at the top of Andrew Mountain Road, where we just allowed Sunset Farms to do their garden expansion project. So we're going to have a very large swath of beautiful land for a variety of uses that are, outdoors, trails, nature, wildlife, lots of exciting things. Now, we've been working with the YMCA. They are interested in using some grant funding to purchase, I'm gonna say, the fields owned by the Wilmot property that are on the Rubber Ave side of their property. If you're at all familiar with their property on the Rubber Ave side, they have some beautiful pastures that are on the Mission 22 hike. Then there's a big mountain in the middle that we're gonna acquire. And then they have other fields, beautiful pastures on Downtown Road. So the Y is working on an acquisition of all of the land that really adjoins our land and the land we're about to acquire. Which means that there's an opportunity for an even larger project, which in essence would be a joint venture between the town and the Y, where the Y would use their grant funding to expand, to acquire the land, to build a summer camp, and, you know, to really have some really, and Mark will talk about this, but to really have some great activities for the kids. And we can tie it all together. The thought would be, you know, our street department and park department would work with them like we do at downtown. We can help them. They're not gonna build roads. They're gonna have, you know, basically improve the paths that are there now and really put together a fantastic project that will benefit, I'm gonna say, everyone in town and beyond. It will become a destination for young kids and the Y. So I'm gonna stop there. And Mark, I want you to, from your perspective and from the Y's perspective, tell us what you're thinking about, and then we can talk about it.
So the Y's been offering summer camps since basically our inception, and you know, one of the biggest things that the YMCA offers is summer camp. So you know, since I started here, I always wanted to have, as Mayor Pete has said, a destination. I want to be able to get kids and families on the outskirts of town, get them in the woods, and you know, for lack of better terms, teach kids how to be kids again. Right now, we offer an amazing summer camp. We change lives. We have, for instance, a story that I have from this past year is the last day of camp. As kids are getting picked up, they're crying. Our counselors are crying. If we're doing those things at the Y and using the field down the street, can you imagine what we can do if we had a property like this? You know, we've already walked the property, and we were up on top, and it just overlooks the whole valley. You know, to have a partnership with the town for us to be able to do, you know, for us to create that, as he said, you know, we're not looking to put in paved roads, but we are going to have to improve some of the infrastructure. We would bring in electrical, water. We would eventually want to put some sort of building on there. When I say building, nothing more than an open hall. But it's not just going to be for summer camp. We want to create like an outdoor center. It would also be a place for outside of our licensed summer camp. We can have anybody from town or from local communities come out and be able to use the property. You know, having the Mission 22 trail right there that goes right through, it would go right towards the end of that property, and it could be a drop-off point. You know, I envision putting some sort of pavilion up on the top of the mountain there where people can go and enjoy, you know, halfway through their walk. And the fact that it would be right next to the borough property would be immense. You know, this is something that we've wanted to do. It would take a lot to get it done. Without the support of the town, it would be a lot tougher for us. Right now is an opportune time for us. We're in a really good place financially. We're doing a lot of the right things. Our membership is strong. And the fact that we have grant dollars, we're looking to find out, you know, what percentage of that we can use for acquisition. But at the end of the day, both of those grants that we got, 1 million from the state and 1.9 from the Fed, we're going to be able to utilize at least to get the camp up and running. So the funds are there. You know, a property is here. We've already sat with the Wilmots, and you know, it sounds like they're all for also having this happen. So right now we're in negotiations. I shouldn't say negotiations, but we're having talks to figure out, you know, what would it take for us to be able to acquire it and then be able to move forward. this isn't a project that we would want to take years and years and years to do. We would want to pull the trigger and we want to get kids out there, families out there. You know, and I don't know if anybody knows a lot about summer camp, but you know, there are summer camps out there that have everything from ropes courses, to swimming pools, to lakes, to all of that kind of stuff. I want a top tier summer camp right here at Naugatuck to where it, as Mayor Pete said, it would be a destination. It wouldn't just be for our kids. However, our kids would always get first dibs on anything and everything. But we would want to be able to open it up and create another draw for people to come to Naugatuck. So again, I'm sure some people have been out on the property. It's beautiful. My jaw hit the ground when I was up on top and I could just imagine the things that we could do. So makes the hair stand up on my arm and you know, if we can get this going and we can, you know, put together a really good plan. I think that it would really change our youth and change kids growing up in our areas.
Right,
Yeah,
so I'm just gonna open it up to question, comments from the Burgesses.
I've been at the Camp Natasha property, so are you kind of thinking along the same sort of
Almost
setup?
Yeah, so
Okay.
just to give you guys a quick story, we're in a strategic planning process for the Y. We're calling it a real-time strategic plan. So we're you know, continuously molding it. One of the things was I got my board members out to Camp Natasha. I called up Jim. I said, hey, I need to use your space to really start to kind of get that energy and that excitement. Yes, they have a lake right there, but we could do just as much, if not more, on this property as well. So yes, it would be a day camp. You know, I envision 300 to 500 kids if possible. That would bring people, jobs, revenue, all of that kind of good stuff. You know, when a YMCA has a successful summer camp, it not only allows them to change lives and do all that stuff, but that revenue that we would bring in from summer camp would help us to do so much more. We would do more improvements to our building down here. We would be able to expand our programming, our staffing and all that good stuff. So.
I mean,
Yes.
Natasha sells out like as soon as they open
Immediate.
registration, yeah.
So that is
I
our
was
goal.
a camp nurse there for a couple of years and
Yeah.
it sells out.
So a lot of our kids go to Camp Natasha. I want our kids
immediately.
at our camp.
A question for you, how long has it been since the Y, Naugatuck Y, had a true summer camp? I know Camp Naboka was.
That was years and years ago. I
Yes, it
understand that was in Oxford. When we say a true summer camp, last year, a true summer camp is a place where you bring the kids. When you're talking about having a property like this, I think it was in the 80s when they moved away from Camp Naboka. I've only heard stories of it. I've actually haven't seen any literature. It's just folks that have told me, you know, kind of the stories and how they did amazing things out there. I want to do it again and I want to bring it
I
back.
still sing some of the songs from there.
That's all.
You don't want to ask.
Get closer to the mic.
No, let's hear.
No, you don't want.
I have a question.
Right,
Other than Public Works assisting with doing what has to be done, the site work, what else does the partnership involve?
so right now, we're providing them with development, advice and experience, like, there's all types of questions of water lines, electricity, whatever, so myself, Jim Stewart, Fred, we're assisting them in acquiring the property and giving them, you know, our expertise. You know, and it's their money, and it'll be, you know, some of our laborers will be working up there, but we're not looking at like spending borough money to build these cabins. We're gonna assist them and help them get it done. So we were looking at another site before this one. It was a lot more complicated, and then this one came along and it just all fell into place. And it's very exciting, and if you've never been there, you should go there. You know, I'll tell you this, Rocky, it's not the easiest thing in the world to start on Rubber Rabbit and walk to the top. But if you start on the top and walk to the bottom, it's not that hard.
I'll just put a quick little plug, you know, it's 2023. For a YMCA in this day and age to be able to go out and purchase a property of this size and open up a summer camp would be almost, nobody would be able to do it. The fact that, you know, if we had this partnership, we would be able not only to do it, but create something that, you know, would blow others off the water, to be honest, and you know, as he said, having a partnership of just you know, if we did this without the borough, we'd have to hire an engineer, we'd have to have a project manager, we'd have to, you know, I like to say I can do a lot of that stuff, but I still have to make sure that we're running our day-to-day out, so. You know, the fact that we have that connection is gonna help the why, make sure that we can do this so much quicker.
And if you have those extra costs, you'll be taking funding away from what could be put into this.
Correct, exactly, because we're saving so much on that end, we'll be able to do so much more. You know, I envision, you know, if you look at the bottom there, kind of right at so this rubber app up on the top, right at the. Point, so like I can envision like some sort of open cabin here, that would have bathrooms, a kitchen, all that kind of stuff. It would be kind of like the main central spot. Everybody would come in here, you'd have like a little parking lot here. Again, these are all completely just coming out of the head as far as when we walk the property. Put a pavilion up here, I would put a swimming pool somewhere there, if not, then you do some cabins up top. But there's so much that we can do with the property. That's just kind of the first shot of what our thought is, and it would be an outdoor center on the weekends during summer camp in the summer. You know, members would be able to get to use it for free. People in the community would probably we would figure out how that works, but come out and pay a day, you know, a day pass of some sort. But when you're out there, you kind of forget about everything. You don't see a lot of cars driving by, and you know, you're not downtown. So it's just going to create so much of. It's not just summer camp. It's an outdoor center. It's a family center. You know, people will be able to use it for, you know, conferences. You can have, you know, parties out there. When I say parties, you know, drinking parties, but what I'm saying is, you know, we'll be able to use it for so much more than just that. We don't want to just have, you know, some shovels in the ground and, you know, have kids playing in dirt. It's going to be more than that. Ropes courses, archery. These kids are really going to be able to go out and have an experience of a lifetime. They're never going to want to leave. So that's the goal.
Great idea.
All right, any other thoughts, Charlie?
Kid went to Natasha Day Camp many years.
Yeah.
Still involved in scouting the camp.
Great.
Day camps do generate a lot of bus traffic.
Yep.
You're talking 500 kids.
Yep.
It's almost City Hill's worth of bus traffic going to this area. And open somewhere in your plans, how you're doing, because we do have a passive nature area near there.
Yep.
We don't want to disrupt that.
Correct.
You know, as this project moves forward, we open utmost respect
Yes,
to what's currently there
of course.
as a quiet, passive space is still maintained. And also, I'm curious to see how you get around some of the traffic issues, because busing is huge, especially if we go regional.
Yeah.
You know, when we were going up to Natasha, kids would be busing from Naugatuck.
Yeah.
I was like Woodbury, all
still
over the
busing
place,
kids, I know.
and it's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
And this would be a major step forward from right now downtown Naugatuck being our camp.
Yeah.
So it's good to see, and it's an affordable option
Oh, of course.
that a lot of families desperately need, especially in some
Big time, big time. Yeah, we would definitely keep that all in mind. You know, a lot of the local people, obviously parents would be dropping them right off, but yes, we would love to have some sort of bus plan where we know we can have pickup spots. That would also lower the amount of singular cars coming in and out. And then, you know, being able to have people come in. So when I use those numbers, those are things that we would strive for. Is that gonna happen in the first year? Probably not. But you know, the goal here is to really create something great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll meet with you again later this week or next week, whenever you're ready.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, item 9, revaluation phase in. I'm just gonna keep this on the agenda every month until we get to the end. As we know, we're starting budget season now. The issue that we face is that not all properties in Naugatuck increase value at the same rate. So residential properties in general are up 41%. And that's higher on the multifamily end and the condos. But on the lower end, it has a much more dramatic increase than the higher end. And then also on the commercial side, there's also quite a bit of growth. And there's also quite a bit of of necessary work that was done to make the list more accurate. There were just a lot of properties that were out of whack, either too high or too low. And the grand list is something that will most likely never be perfect, but it's going to be a lot better than it was, and we'll always strive to make it better and to get the most accurate values that we can. So what we're going to see when we get to the end is that commercial properties are going to want to see reval implemented all at once, because they're going to want to capture their savings all at once. And on the residential side, there's going to be a large group of people who are going to want to see a phase in. I'm in favor of a phase in at some level. What I'm thinking is that we will, sort of like we've done in the past with the budget, we'll create some scenarios. And as we get further into the process, bring them here and try to find a way to implement it in the fairest way to everyone. And you know, it's a good problem. When property values go up, it's a good thing, but it just doesn't impact everyone the same way. You know, people are impacted in a dramatically different way. So it's going to be you know, an important task to get it right. So if anyone wants to ask a question or make a comment, let's talk about it tonight, but I'm going to keep it on the agenda, and during the finance process, we're going to be talking about it. And when we adopt the budget and when we send out the tax bills, you know, sort of May, June-ish is when we need to have our conclusion. So I'll just stop there and see if anyone has any questions.
I just have a quick question. I mean, we know that the valuations were just abnormal, and it's not something, and hopefully the market's gonna correct itself. Is there any chance, and I think we have to face it, there's no doubt about that, but is there any chance that a year from now, we can either do a statistical reval that'll bring it more to reality? And instead of waiting
Let
5
me
years?
say three things. I'll start off with yes. You can do a reval every year if you want. So if things are way out of whack, we can always do another reval without waiting 5 years. Number two, what I see, because we check virtually every sale, the sales now are still over the new reval numbers. So it's not like the prices are
Right.
dropping. Now, the number of transactions is dropping, but as soon as a nice home goes on the market, it sells for over asking price and over the new assessment. So the values aren't wrong. It's just an unusual situation where where because the list was so imperfect in the past, because there was such an acceleration in values in a short period of time, and you know, for other mistakes on the list, you know, it's gonna take a while to fix. Now, I have a lot of confidence in our assessor, Shelby Jackson, and he's got some assistants helping him with the process, and you know, they're at it every day, and it's going well, but it's a big job.
Did we refresh my memory, because I don't remember, but did we do this a year early? Wasn't it not due until next year to reval, or was this
Well, we did it,
last on the 5-year mark?
we did it late
It was a year late.
last time,
Oh,
early this
just to-
time, so we're on,
catch up.
now we're on the correct schedule.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, can we just kind of do it next year, but,
Well, we can't now.
okay.
And next year won't be any different. I mean, it will be the same thing. But you know, doing it more often, I think is better than certainly way better than in the past when they skipped like 25 years, so, things got crazy, we'll do another one.
Is there any talk up in Hartford about the vehicle tax remaining the same or lower or higher or the cap?
Well, I haven't heard, I mean, yeah, there's talk, but
I just
I
bought a
don't
new
know
car,
where it's
come on.
gonna wind up. What?
I just bought a new car.
Me too.
Yeah, so you want the 34.
Yeah, let's get it lower than that.
Yeah. By the way, I was surprised that motor vehicles went up this year also. I thought they went up so much the year before that they would probably level off or go down this year. They still went.
Because the used car market is way up there.
Yeah, so it's an unusual time in the market. All right, yes, Charles.
Mayor, what's the timetable on us getting a more detailed breakdown of the options of phase versus complete implement for, how long will it be before you really get those numbers we can look at?
Well, I work on it every day. Every day we get new information, so, like I have ideas in my head right now. But we'll, the sooner,
Springtime, be fair?
yeah, okay, so it's February. Yeah, definitely springtime, yeah.
Groundhog gave you 6 extra weeks.
But,
That's faith.
okay. Any other questions on revale?
The documents in the groundhog bowl.
It's just like chicken.
All right. Cannabis. So, we have a subcommittee. And we have the borough attorney, who's on the phone. I'm gonna, why don't you unmute Attorney Fitzpatrick? But there's 2 things I want to bring up tonight. I've instructed him to prepare a draft for the subcommittee's review of a very strict ordinance, strictly regulating and prohibiting use of marijuana on town properties, parks, things like that.
I think everybody got a copy of that.
Well, they got a copy that Fitzpatrick prepared?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I think the next step is that the subcommittee should look at it, see if you want to tweak it, tighten it up. And then the next month, we will start the process of an ordinance, which will be a strict regulation type ordinance. Now who's on the subcommittee? Dorothy, Fran, Jan, okay. All right, so, Attorney Fitzpatrick, do you want to add anything to what I just said?
No, I just, probably a smart idea if I can meet with the subcommittee sometime between now and the next borough board meeting, perhaps next week, if that's convenient for the subcommittee. So we can go over some of their thoughts and we can refine this a little bit before the next meeting. That would be my thoughts.
Okay, now, let's just stop there. Any questions on cannabis regulation?
I'm assuming they're gonna basically match liquor regulations
I would say it'll be
in some
strict.
way, shape or form.
Much stricter.
Well, that's the zoning part of it.
And restricted.
Yeah.
This prohibits, this ordinance, in other words, you can buy it, right? Well, you can't just go on the green and smoke.
Right.
So
Right.
things like that will be prohibited.
Cigarettes smoking in that on the green and
Yeah, well, that's what the part of it.
every time you walk out of the town hall.
All right, now, Attorney Fitzpatrick, let me ask this question. I know that, in the last couple of days, we received, settlement offers on our opioid, litigation. Not the one that we've already agreed to with Purdue, but some new ones. Do we need a motion to authorize us to enter into those agreements?
Yes, I would like to see that. And I would authorize that as borough attorney, I'm authorized to author those settlements since that's how they're coming through the settlement administrator. And I believe I outlined both to the mayor and to the controller previously what the sort of the payouts are likely to be and over the terms for some of those settlements. Those are Teva, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and Allergen. There will be more coming, but those five are in this batch.
Those are separate from the Sackler ones.
Right. So
That's correct.
Okay.
we're already receiving 17,000 plus or minus per year from Purdue. And now we've got a whole host of additional ones. And we will be talking about the best way to use that money for opioid prevention or things related to dealing with the
Education.
crisis. And I'll just throw this out there as one of the things we're thinking about. In addition to purchasing Narcan and things like that, we want to have, I'm going to call it recovery coaches, which means that when there is an event, that right off the bat, a social worker or recovery coach, someone with knowledge of how to get help to these people is going to go out immediately, meet with them and monitor them and try to get a successful result. And we did have recovery coaches a couple of years ago, but the financing fizzled out and the program sort of disappeared. But I'm open to ideas. Youth services will
I
be
was gonna
involved.
suggest them, yeah.
They'll be involved, but I'm gonna say, speaking for myself, I like the idea of recovery coaches because there's more of a one-on-one relationship that, you know, can help someone, and you can see it more readily than just awareness programs and things like that. So when we get there, I'd like to see a lot of the money go in that direction. Now, it's not on the agenda, so I'm gonna entertain a motion to add to the agenda a motion to authorize the borough to enter into settlement agreements. By the way, these just came in the last couple of days after the agenda was prepared. So, and to enter into settlement agreements with the entities that Attorney Fitzpatrick outlined. So can we have a motion?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of adding it to the.
Aye.
agenda?
Aye.
So it's now an agenda item. Attorney Fitzpatrick, could you please list the names of the companies for the most recent settlements?
Yes, Mayor. The companies included in the recent round of opioid settlements are as follows: CVS, Teva, Walgreens, Walmart, and Allergen. Those are the five that are the subject of this round of settlements. And as I said, we're anticipating some future rounds with other entities.
And these are also opioid related.
Yep.
They are.
What numbers are we talking about for the borough? And I think you should tell the Burgesses, you know, how these numbers were arrived at on a statewide basis.
So a couple things. The exact numbers, I'm not sure what our share will be, but I did send an email out about a month ago when we were discussing them. it looks like it's going to be, some of the settlements are between 13 and 17,000. Some are 8,000 a year, and the terms are, some are 6 or 7 years, some are 8 years. I think CVS has indicated they may pay it all off in 1 year. Which would, I think it's important for the borough for a lot of reasons. One is the gross settlement amount. Number two is how do we budget for it, and how do we plan, as the mayor said, how do you plan your program around it, and to ensure that we have enough funds to satisfy the programming needs. With regard to the amounts of the settlement, so the state has the vehicles are, there's multi-structured methods of settlements. The state receives a certain percentage. The municipalities receive a certain percentage, and then our percentage is part of that municipal percentage. We are one of the municipal participants. Some municipalities, by the way, did not participate in the settlements, or in the litigation. We did, so we're entitled to our share.
I noticed that the memo I got said there was a strict deadline to sign the settlement documents, so we certainly don't want to miss it, so.
I have another question.
Okay, go ahead, Megan.
So the money that's coming, Ned, does it have to be used for like opioid
Yeah.
education, recovery? We can't use it for just like whatever.
Right.
We have to report off what it's being used for. Okay,
Correct, and it's for the same uses as the metric contained in the Purdue settlements. It's the same, it's the same metric, the opioid treatment and abuse, education, for education and training,
okay,
and also supplies related thereto.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I will entertain a motion that, that the borough attorney be authorized to sign the appropriate settlement documents, to settle the, cases that he mentioned, in order that we can meet our time deadline and recoup these funds, on time.
Motion.
Second.
And you want to list the cases one more time?
Sure. CVS, Teva, TEVA, Walgreens, Walmart, and Allergen, and that is ALLERGAN.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so Attorney Fitzpatrick, you're authorized to sign those, get them filed, so they're done in a timely manner, and then keep monitoring, the flow of funds, so we can start planning how we're gonna use it.
Yes, will do.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're on. Okay, 11.
Motion that the board of mayor Burgess approve the appointment of Teresa Osaka as a village drive dog as an alternate member of the finance board, filling expired term of our Burke, term to expire June 1st, 2024. Second.
I know Teresa's in the audience. She's a finance whiz from the, furniture store across the river there, so, any, questions or comments on Teresa?
And she has a heart of gold and gives her time to organizations like the Historical Society too.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Teresa, so, Ken Hanks is gonna be your mentor, and, when you come to your first meeting, I'll swear you in, and, So it's a good time to get appointed, because our, when is our meeting? It's like within the next week. or
Next
so.
2 weeks,
Next 2 weeks we start, so
Monday.
it's a perfect time to get on board.
Yeah, I think Monday, Pete.
Don't plan anything on Monday nights until May.
That's it. No more on Monday nights. That's it. You're not free.
Okay, all right, let's go to 12. What? Oh, do we vote? Oh, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
We voted twice.
You're in twice.
Motion, the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the appointment of Linda Mayfield, 23 Hopkins Hill Road, Wagoner, as a temporary member of the Board of Assessments Appeals, filling the unexpired term of A. Bronco, term to expire June 1, 2025. Second.
All right, so I believe that Adam is a full-time member. He's remaining, right? Yeah, I think that Adam is a new addition, well, not new, but in the last year or two. And we're adding Linda, who is, a veteran of real estate and, very knowledgeable. And she'll be a great addition to the Board of Assessment Appeals, so. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Mayor Burgess approved the reappointment of Catherine Carton, Coventry Lane, Naugatuck, as a member of the Saunders Trust Advisory Committee, term to expire January 1, 2025. Second.
All right, so, for the newer Burgesses, I don't know if you've come across this yet, but we have a Saunders Trust Advisory Committee. It's, a gentleman who left a considerable sum of money to the borough. It's, invested and managed by, I forget their name, but a company in Waterbury that does that for us. And they, every year, they make, donations to a whole host of charities. So it's an application process. And, it's doing quite well. It's a good thing, but it's something that anyone who's in the nonprofit world should be aware of it, because it is a potential location to get some funding. All right, so all those in favor of Catherine?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion, the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the reappointment of Sandra Heller, Coventry Lane, Naugatuck, as a member of the Saunders Trust Advisory Board, term to expire January 1, 2025. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion, the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the reappointment of Tracy DeBarber, Maple Hill Road, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Inland Wetlands Commission, term to expire January 1, 2027. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
She does a great job. In favor. Aye.
Opposed?
Motion, the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the reappointment of Marcia Webb Road, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Inland Wetlands Commission, term to expire January 1, 2025. Second. 27.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion, the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the reappointment of Louise Sheedy, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Inland Wetlands Commission, term to expire January 1, 2027. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion, the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the reappointment of Louis Costa, Sierra Ridge Road, Naugatuck, as a alternate member of the Inland Wetlands Commission, term to expire January 1, 2027. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Motion, the Board of Mayor Burgess approved the reappointment of Catherine Aresta, Barbara Lane, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Water Pollution Control Authority, term to expire February 1, 2028. Second.
Well, no one can say no to anybody in here. There's no doubt about it. I just want the record to know.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So. We're expanding the, Naugatuck ambulance, Corps' board of directors, by 3. So we'll have an odd number. So first of all, I'm gonna appoint Jeremy Rodrigo as a member of the Naugatuck Ambulance Board of Directors, term to expire January 1, 2028. And I'll just note that Jeremy was very extremely helpful in the whole process of taking over the ambulance board, and he's a great addition. Okay, now on number 21, after a late day consultation with Kathy Brockhausen, who, by the way, is Kathy McFadden, that's her married name now. She informed me that it would be more appropriate if Bob Mezzo from Ion Bank would take her spot. So I mean, I'm great with Bob, so I'm gonna appoint Bob Mezzo. Rocky, you're giving me a look. I'm gonna appoint him anyway.
I know.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna appoint Bob Mezzo as a member of the Naugatuck Ambulance Board of Directors, term to expire January 1, 2028. And I'm also gonna reappoint Rob Vitalik, 150 Ledgewood Drive, Watertown, as a member of the Naugatuck Ambulance Board of Directors, term to expire January 1, 2028. And I'll just note, Rob is the director of our Northwest Communications in Waterbury, that's already working with our ambulance board and doing a great job. So I reappoint Rob. 23.
Motion the Board of Mayor Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to enter in a contract with Grant Writing with Daniel Dowd LLC.
Second.
All right, so as you recall, I think it was last month's meeting, I brought Danielle here, and she's doing a fantastic job for us. And I included in your package, not just the agreement, but, you know, sort of a timeline of some of the things she's working on now. And I also note every week I get requests for her to do additional grants. We had one today from last week from Mr. Hanks. Every day someone wants to pursue another grant. So the grant writing aspect of the town is getting much stronger and producing results. And I think she's just a fantastic addition to our development team. Any questions on Danielle?
Just one question, is the compensation rate changed since she's first come on? Is this different or?
I don't know, but I would say in my judgment,
She's worth every penny, I agree.
she's worth every penny.
It was just.
I don't think it changed, but I don't really check it. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to retain her was my mission.
Yeah.
But she's fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I asked it though, is,
Yeah,
are we okay with that number?
yeah, we're okay.
She's okay.
She is okay.
We're all okay.
All right. Any questions or discussion on 23? All those in favor?
Aye.
Board of Mayor Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to sign a contract to liquidate the contents of the Nordic Event Center with Keystone Liquidators.
Second.
All right, so there's some nuances to this, but there are some things we're gonna retain. We have some potential computer issues. We're gonna retain some of the chairs and things in the gym room and things like that, but in essence, there's a large amount. If you ever walk around the 3rd floor and the 4th floor, there's just a large amount of contents there that, you know, that have some value. So, we want this company to conduct a liquidation sale. And, we'll generate some revenue. And we're gonna have to clean out the building anyway, so this will just help in that regard. Questions?
There are some properties there that belong to the Historical Society that are gonna be moving. I just make sure they don't include those items.
Yeah, so I expect you to be there and guard down that. But yeah, obviously, we're not gonna sell things that we want. They're all locked up, right?
Yes.
So,
And the plan is to move them out shortly.
yeah.
And is there stuff in there for like the food pantry and things like that, where they'll have to move that stuff as well?
Yeah.
Do they have a location as to where they're moving it?
There's, no, that,
They have their stuff
So-
in a secret area, a separate area,
let's just say that,
highly identified.
They want-
we're gonna have to decide what we're gonna do with the Bank of America. We have some space at the Armory. We have some other space, but there's gonna be some, maneuvering around that we're gonna just have to do the best we can with.
Do we have the terms on it? I don't normally, Alpha like this, come in and they say.
Yeah, they're taking 45.
That's,
Yeah,
Plus $750 to inventory.
Inventory, $750 inventory. You could have given 10 times that. That's what it's over there.
sure.
You're talking just the items on the third and fourth floor. Do we need to mark stuff that we want to make sure is not part of the sale?
Yes.
Or do we, because like we've got items, or I do on the first and second floor that I don't
Yeah.
want.
Well, we have our, the music equipment that there's a lot of things that we're not gonna sell. That's where the inventory comes in and we'll separate it, but,
Does Wayne go with the deal? We're gonna give it to him.
Wait,
Where do we sign?
Wade's for sale. He's for sale.
Wayne's not for sale? Is that what you said?
Oh, he is for sale.
Oh, okay.
Sell them to the lowest bidder.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Motion for versus waive the bid, and authorize the mayor has to execute all contracts, delay documents for the annual renewal of the fireworks software subscription with EPR Systems USA, the South Street, Jacksonville, Florida, as recommended by Fire Chief Paul Russell and Information Technology Director Jim Capillanes.
So Jim, you want to address this?
Certainly. This is the fireworks software that we use for incident reporting.
Hold on, we have a second?
Second, sorry.
Go
Thank you. This is the incident reporting software we use at the fire department. It is an annual software subscription. It is budgeted and unfortunately was missed in the bid waivers and approval process that was in July and August that were brought before the board. The software subscription came up as I entered it. It was pushed back from purchasing because we need to have a waiver from the board because it's a little over 15,000.
All right, any questions for Jim? All those in favor?
I,
Opposed?
Motion the board of Maine versus waive the bid for contract fiscal year 23-B008 motor vehicle and equipment parts and repair with Rich's Car Works, South Main Street, Norfolk, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
James,
Well, we all know who Burgess Car Works. The departments in the town have used him in the past for small work. And Frank can fill you in some recent work that's been done with him. I've had good luck with him, and the governance department has recommended we make this waive this bid, so we can use it.
And they're extremely honest.
Yes, they are.
They are very honest people.
We've had,
And we'll only do what's needed.
very good luck with Rich's Fireworks. One incident I could tell you, incident or situation. I had a bid on a repair to motor vehicle, to one of the town's vehicles. From from a dealership, a primary dealership for this type of vehicle. And, they charge us an upcharge to get parts in time. Promised it within a certain period of time. After 11 months with the parts not coming in, we finally canceled the purchase order, and that was after we got 3 bids. Richard was not one of them. When we got the 3 bids, the dealership was the low bid, not by much, but they were the low bid. The car was held up for 11 months without getting the repair, which time I had the purchase order canceled. And last Thursday, I contacted Richard's Car Works and to see if they could do the repairs to it. And the cars was sitting downstairs, the work was completed by Tuesday. He had the part shipped in, and it was done at approximately 10% less than the other bids we got. So he discounts the labor, discounts the parts, and in this day and age, that's a big thing. I would highly recommend him, or the company rather. They're great to do business with, they're right up front, very accommodating.
I think we all agree. All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Motion for here, authorize Mayor Hanson, Controller Allison Bruce to purchase vehicles through the Fleet Fund as recommended by Controller Allison Bruce. Second.
All right, Allison, are you out there in Zoom land? Got it?
She is here. I'm just waiting for her to unmute. There we go.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Now.
You're a Verizon commercial, huh?
Good evening. This motion is rather a passionate one for most of the departments, as we've struggled since COVID to acquire vehicles that we place orders on. We've had numerous issues that have complicated the purchase of vehicles. Vehicles that were ordered for us that were stolen off the lot, vehicles that were ordered for us that were almost sold out from under us, vehicles that were put in the production line that just aren't making it to the dealerships. And as a course of action for many of our vendors, they try to work with us in different ways by finding vehicles that were not were turned down by other municipalities or vendors, and they call us on a very short notice, and they give us a very short time to excuse me, to give them an answer as to whether we'll take these vehicles or not. And we're trying various strategies by going to vehicles with extremely low mileage that are like turned in from a lease with almost no miles on them. We're getting interceptors with very low mileage. We're just trying everything we can to navigate this very unusual world in motor vehicle sales. And it's been very interesting, but we're asking for latitude to be able to make very quick decisions to acquire vehicles that we didn't anticipate acquiring, but and kind of juggling our purchases around to obtain vehicles to keep each of the departments functioning appropriately. We had a couple vehicles that were totaled that we needed replacements for. There was another vehicle that was in a shootout. We've just had a very difficult time navigating the motor vehicle world. If we have some latitude, we can work with the production line, with the manufacturers. We can organize our timelines so we can better accommodate what's going on in this strange world of purchasing motor vehicles. I don't know if you want to ask me some questions, because it's been a very interesting ride that we've all been on, and the fire department, DPW, police, all the departments are working to strategize this, and we're looking for this motion to free us up for some, flexibility.
All right, I'm gonna stop you there, Allison. Chief McAllister, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Allison had been saying. We've been working hand in hand in this for quite a while. Timelines for vehicles, specifically police vehicles, are atrocious, 18 to 24 months. When we take delivery of the vehicles, the amount of technology that's in them now generally is about a 3-month time frame for them to outfit the patrol vehicles. So the initial block of patrol vehicles that was authorized for order and purchase for I'd say about this time last year, are only on the lot now and will be getting to be outfitted. So it's a substantial turnaround time. We still have some others in the pipeline that are waiting on odds and ends and parts and still haven't been serviced yet. And then like Allison was saying, the other ones that will lose line of duty for collisions, vehicle strikes, those ones again will take anywhere from almost 6, 7, 12 months for one of them to get repaired again. So we were battling a lot of different things here. So even with the insurance reimbursement, sometimes working with Allison, we were able to find a quick one that turn around and replace while we're waiting for the insurance replacements to come around. So something that we talk about, I want to say weekly, but pretty close to that, to keep the fleet online. And then obviously these are revenue generators too, having road work too. So we want to make sure that we have police vehicles that are deployable and ready to go.
So, Allison, just one question. I don't need a lengthy answer, but, I assume with all the extra construction work and private duty now that our fleet fund is, I'm gonna say flourishing and doing, as well as we expected. Is that correct?
Correct, and, the police department went even further than that, we're doing financial analysis on ensuring that vehicles are at every single private duty job, which are $25 an hour, which will go into the fleet fund to fund it even further to keep it extremely solvent. And we're working on various strategies, just try to keep our fleet program running at its optimal.
Okay, hey, Rocky.
I'm not sure what's being asked. What's different now than 2 years ago? I mean, don't you normally purchase a vehicle and it comes from the fleet fund?
Yes, but the
What are you asking?
previous motion,
Timeline.
the previous motions were for specific quantities or specific dollars. And right now, we need to be able to make decisions and decide on a purchase within 24 hours.
I think
So,
what she's saying is she doesn't want to be limited to making those decisions during budget season and then have to wait another year because things happen too quickly. So she wants to make, continuous division of decisions, tweaks, upgrades, whatever it takes to get it done.
Gotcha. Would it be possible to get a list of employees that take vehicles home? I'm not talking about patrol cars or public works, big trucks. Can we get an inventory of the vehicles the borough owns that people have for personal use?
yes, we can. My understanding is there's not very many of those, but yes.
Good, so then it should be easy to get to me.
All right, any other questions?
One thing I want to mention there is that, one of the things we're doing, and, the chief, sought some input on it, there's some of the vehicles that are not being used a lot, like, and I'll give examples for, the vehicle I just talked about that we got the new steering, rack put in. That vehicle's not used a lot. It's used, the spirit team safety patrol use it for when there's events. Now, it sits across the street in the parking lot. Now, we're getting that back up. There's some other work that has to be done, so we can use it every day. And it could still, when it's, as opposed to sitting across the street, when they have a road job, one of the officers that has it, it's not outfitted for patrol. It doesn't have the cameras and the, everything that has it. But they could use it for a road job. Instead of sitting across the street, we're gonna make $25 an hour when the officers are out on a road job.
Makes sense.
So that's gonna, we have a few cars that are gonna be able to do that. So, and it does two things. It keeps the car from sitting there and not being used. And we're making money on it. It's like you can't go wrong. It's a win-win situation.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion the Board of Mayor Burgess authorize Control Allen Bruce to refund the following tax refunds approved by tax collector James Goggin as it read.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, yeah, thank you, Mike. So we're going to the addendum. I'm gonna entertain a motion that we add to the agenda, the appointment of a member to the Park Commission.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and then we need,
Motion that the Board of Mayor Burgess approve the appointment of Alex Orsby.
Olders.
Olders.
We know Alex.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. 72 Candy Road, Naugatuck, as a member of the Park Commission, filling the expired term of Lee Solomon, term to expire September 1, 2027.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Excellent choice.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, public comment. Jim K. Anyone in the room? You have a very distinguished group in the back there. Does anyone want to get up and, tell us what you think about life in Naugatuck? All right, hearing done, we'll go to Mayor and Burgess comments. I think we should, be brief tonight, but, let's,
All of us, or just the Burgess?
all of us. Let's, and then maybe we'll take a short break and go into executive session. So, Jim.
Is, Allison still there?
Yes.
Yes,
Allison, I got a quick question for you. The, office of the, what do you call it? Registrar of Voters. They were approved last year on a budget, as far as I remember, because I think I voted for it, to get a raise this year. It was supposed to go from 42.97 up to 4,500 from November 22 to June 23, and up to an even 5,000 in July 23. And they're getting told that the Burgess has never voted on it, which sounds wrong to me. The joint boards would have voted on that. So I think they were granted a raise, but I'm not sure how it works because that's a non-salary review board, I believe, right?
correct. Correct. I'll check with John and I'll review the final approvals on that.
Okay,
And I'll,
please,
if there's any discrepancies, I will ensure that they're corrected.
okay, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Rocky.
Yes, sir. It was great going to the Boots versus Badgers basketball game. It's amazing how athletic all of our employees on the police department and the fire department are. And I really didn't notice any cheating whatsoever. And the police department came out and prevailed. Also, I went to the police department to sit on the use of force training. It was absolutely enlightening. It was very informative. And, you know, I'd love to see them do some of that stuff for the public and sometimes to better understand the new laws and exactly what the police officers are up against. Also on Saturday, February 11th, there's a sweetheart breakfast run by Park and Rec, 9 to 10 in the morning. I think it's 10:30 to 11:30 at the rec center. So if you have a sweetheart, bring your sweetheart and have some breakfast. And let's get ready for every Monday night and sometimes Tuesday budget season for the next 6 years. Well, maybe 5 months. That's it.
Thank you. George,
Nothing this time.
Mike,
Just a suggestion to the cannabis committee, when you meet with Attorney Fitzpatrick, that as well as looking at the draft ordinance, they also look at the regulation that the zoning commission passed last month.
And the input
And the input from the public.
all right, thank you, Mike. Charlie,
Nothing report. We have one question though, and Jim's here. The bridge that's along the river. And it goes back towards the Polish Company. There are lights there. They're never on. They never work. I walk that path often with my dog. And, this time of year when it's more dark than light, the lights on the bridge don't turn on. If they're on a timer, they're going on after 9 o'clock, that's for sure, because they're not on at 8 or 6 or 7. I don't know who's in charge of that. Is there a problem with it?
That's who's the name, so I will have to check out and get a repair.
And also the lights that go under the Wooders Bridge, several of them, of the LEDs, the colored ones, are not working, or at least half the strip is working. The other strip is out. Again, I don't know who maintains that or how difficult that probably is to maintain, considering it's right up
Okay,
here.
we're aware of that and looking into how to get those working again.
Thank you.
George,
I have nothing to report.
Maria,
The only thing I want to ask Mayor is, I noticed we have a number of things on the, for executive session. I was wondering if one, and I noticed there's a number of individuals here that have an interest in maybe one or two awards rather than all of them. If we can go into executive session and handle a few items and then come out before we handle everything.
I'm totally good.
So that some people aren't here till midnight like the rest of us.
Yeah, these guys are going to go back to work.
We'll do, we'll do, collective bargaining, and personnel first, and then we'll go back in and do those.
I mean, for the sake of time, we could go around right now.
We'll go in executive session. We will fulfill our statutory duties as far as fiscal impact and things like that. Let's, wow.
That's fine. That's fine. I just want to say, last week or so, we lost a gentleman from the borough of Naugatuck, who was a neighbor of mine, and Pete Jazinski, who always walked the neighborhood and really good guy, and ran for mayor one time in the borough of Naugatuck, and swam the English Channel 14 times. Rest in peace, Pete. Yeah.
The funeral mass is at St. Francis.
You had your.
Go ahead.
Right before the election, I called, we was looking, see if I could help them with the absentee ballot and getting medication, so he was not doing well then.
Yeah.
We were always political. Had our political differences, but at the end of the day, he was a great guy, and his heart was in there.
All right, I'm gonna.
So the funeral remembrance mass is this Saturday at 11, I believe, at St. Francis.
All right, I'm gonna entertain a motion that we go into executive session. And we will invite in John Lawler, Chief Colin McAllister. And that's it. And what we'll do is we'll do collective bargaining and personnel first. We'll come out of executive session, take action, and then go back in for a what could be a lengthy discussion on real estate.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. inviting in John, Colin, and Ken.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Recording is in progress, and it is 9:05. So I will reconvene the regular meeting at 9:05. And I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into a collective bargaining agreement. Jim?
That was Jan.
Okay, that I be authorized to enter into an agreement with the Naugatuck Police Union for the term of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2026, as discussed in executive session.
Motion. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Now, we lost our newspaper reporter, I take it, is he out there?
No, Andrea's left.
Jim, red. We're still red.
The video's off. I have to reset the video. The mic is on.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordered. Gentlemen, ladies, we have a deal. Congratulations. Just want to say that everyone on the borough board is proud of you and what you do. We love how you're all rolling in the same direction, and just keep up the good work, and we'll just keep it going. So, Johnny, you and I will get together later this week and sign this, and let's move forward. Thank you. All right. Yeah,
Thanks, John. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.
No.
Jim, it's not me, right? Because there's wire running around.
No, this got stepped on and got pulled out.
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we got
Yeah, we got it.
you. We heard you.
All right,
Loud and clear.
all right, so Nancy's out there, right?
Yes.
So, Nancy, for the record, I want to be clear that we are not voting on the firefighters contract because it's not necessary, because the matter has been solved and resolved by a state of Connecticut interest arbitration award, where the terms of the agreement are mandated and we're bound by them. So it's not necessary for us to vote, but I will note that on January 3rd, 2023, the award was issued. It's now in effect, and I'll just say that we could talk about it for a long time. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say we're very happy that we achieved our primary goal to get some relief on the unnecessary overtime for matters at the police academy, which save us a minimum of 100 fire academy. Thank you, Rocky. Which save us a minimum of 188,000 per year and have other benefits. So we're very happy with that, and we're going to work with the firefighters, talk about some other things, and move forward together and get everyone rowing in the same direction. That concludes those two items. And at this time, I think we'll take a short break, and then we will return to executive session, we will not be talking about personnel. We will be talking about real estate and contracts. And no pending litigation.
Yeah, we got it open there for you, Jan.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, we're in recess at, whatever, it's like 9:10.
Are you good?
So I'm gonna we're still in executive session.
Wow, almost.
I'm gonna reconvene, the meeting at 9:19 and, item 31.
Motion to recess to executive session at 9:13 PM for discussion about real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z, Naugatuck Industrial Park, Section 3. Greenfield acquisition of land of downtown parking, tax incremental finance district, Church Street, Maple Street, 146 Walnut Street, B&A building, Riverview Mobile Home Estates, contracts, Smart City, broadband recycling, Interbag. Interbag. Digest.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Back in executive session.
15.
Oh, we're out of executive session. I'm gonna reconvene the meeting at 10:12. Jim, are we recording?
We are.
So as we come out of executive session, there are no matters emanating from executive session. So I will, move to item 33.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Still world.